this video is going to be a brief video about the former Marine that was taken into custody for things, for content that he posted on Facebook. You know, I've been discussing this with a friend of mine, and we kind of disagree on this thing. And he's actually the host. I'm the co-host of our of a show we do, and I'm extremely conservative not extreme. Yeah, I'm conservative, and he's very far left, and I think that's why we're at odds with a lot of this. But when this whole thing first came out, when this guy was taken into custody, I got to be honest with you, man. I started kind of freaking out a little bit because, like I said, our show is on Arira Radio. You can see the YouTube channel. It's all caps, A-R-I-R-A radio, all caps, no spaces. And or you can go to AriraRadio.com and check it out. But so we do some controversial stuff too. I mean, you know, if you looked at our intro video on Arira, you would see my background. Some of you know that I am former law enforcement, retired LAPD, former federal agent with a inspector general. So, you know, I mean, I've worked for the government, former military, paratrooper. I've worked for the government, you know, whether it was federal or state, since I was 18, you know. So it's been a slow process for me to kind of start to really wake up and see that maybe things weren't what I thought they were. Not saying that I was on the wrong team. I am just saying that you know, the rules of the game have changed a lot, no doubt about it. That's a different subject. But what I want to talk about this guy was when he was first taken into custody, man, I really freaked out too, because I thought, holy shit, man, you can be rolled up for something you put on Facebook. You know, how long is it going to be before I'm taken into custody because of the things we're saying on the radio show that are questionable? You know, questioning some of the government motives. And I mean, it really bothered me, because I'm like, man, you know, is that really how far we've sunk, that you can say something, you know, there's no free speech, you can say something and get arrested? Because that's how it came out. So I started doing my own research, and I was able to get, and it's simple to do, I was searching on Facebook, excuse me, and I ran it, and I was able to review his Facebook page. And I started scrolling through, looking at the comments that he made, trying to figure out what the hell he said that was so egregious. But in the meantime, it's popping up on the news, and there's awful lot of talk on the internet about things that I want to set straight, just so that people can have a clear head. I mean, no matter how passionate you are about something, I would assume and hope that your real interest lies in the truth, right? I mean, you don't want to go off half-cocked about something that's not accurate, because what does that accomplish? So I'm going to set a few things straight that I do know, and then you know, maybe give you a little something else to think about. Many of the comments that I was hearing on YouTube and on Facebook and even on the news were that this guy was taken into custody and nobody read him his rights. You know, nobody read him his rights. But just in case you haven't figured it out yet, and I don't mean that in a pejorative way, I mean it in an informative way, there's a misconception amongst many civilians where, and through no fault of yours, it comes from watching too many movies and bad Hollywood directing, that every time you're arrested or taken into custody, that the police officers have to read you your rights. And I'm just going to set that straight. That is not the case at all. The police never really have to read you your rights when you're arrested. The time that they have to read you your rights is when they're going to question you about the crime, about a certain specific crime or something that is, you know, that's germane to you being arrested. Here's a good example of that, just so you know, for your own edification here. Let's just say that you're driving a car that's stolen, and the cop pulls up behind you and he runs the plate and he sees that it's a stolen car. So he lights you up, pulls you over, and he takes you into custody. Now, a lot of people would think he has to read you your rights because you're being arrested. That's not the case. He already knows the car's stolen in this scenario because he's already, let's just say it's reported. It's reported, it's in the system, or maybe he talked to the registered owner. He's just going to take you to jail, and he's going to charge you with GTA or car theft or whatever it is in your state. He's not going to ask you detailed questions. He may pull you over and say, "Hey man, is this your car?" "Oh yeah, my friend let me borrow it." Blah 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 blah. "Oh, who's your friend?" That's investigative questions. That's not. He's not digging into the actual substance of the crime itself. So he's building up his probable cause to take you into custody beyond just the fact that the car came back stolen. He may not even ask you any questions. So he takes you to jail, and it's Sunday night. Monday morning, the auto detectives come in to talk to you because they're gonna file the case with the district attorney. They're gonna be the ones that are gonna push for prosecution. They are gonna read you your rights because they're gonna ask you every detail. What's your friend? Where's your friend live? When did you get into the car? Where were you last night at 6:35? Whatever. They're going to ask you detailed questions that are going to be used to prosecute the case. Okay, initial contact questions. "Hey man, is this your car?" "Oh, it's my friend's." "What's your friend's name?" "I don't remember." "Well, I thought you said he was your friend." "Well, I just met him." "So you don't know where he lives?" "I don't know anything about him." "Okay, you're under arrest." Bam. He's not going to ask you any more questions that have anything to do with the crime. He's going to take your ass to jail. So don't get too caught up into and I didn't mean to go into a long lesson, but not read somebody their rights is not anything to worry about or to focus in on. That's just distracting. Now the other thing is the guys, the other thing that I wanted to talk about was, looking at his, now it's debatable too about him being arrested or not, and I'll get into that in a second. But I was reading the comments that he made, and some of the comments that I read, and I didn't go through the whole, I only read a few pages, and I realized right away what was going on. He was saying, I read the words, whether or not they were his. They were on the page that was purportedly his Facebook page. The revolution is coming, and I'm leading it, or the revolution has begun, and I'm leading the revolution. I've got my axe sharpened, and blah 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 blah. Which is not too bad, but when you put it in the context of I couldn't tell you how many times I read there's a revolution coming. I'm leading the revolution. I'm tired of waiting for the revolution. I'm starting the revolution. I have no inside knowledge of this, but this is my take on it based on years of experience. In California, we have what's called a 72-hour hold. I don't know what it is in wherever he's from, Virginia, but basically if the police, and it's a pretty low threshold to prove or suspect that you're a danger to yourself or others. If you're standing out in the middle of the intersection, stark naked, and you're swinging a baseball bat around, and you're saying, "I'm Jesus, and I'm here to send you to the promised land," and you just keep repeating it, you're a danger to yourself and others. And while you may not have broken any major laws, you're going to, at the very least, be taken to a mental facility, and you're going to be placed on what we call 72-hour hold, where they observe you and the psychiatric professionals do an evaluation of you. And that appears to be what's going on with this guy. So a lot of you are going to come back and go, "Well, why would you, that's against his will and blah, blah, blah." I'm not defending the law just to defend the law. I've really thought about this. And just open your mind a little bit. If you look at all of the things that have happened recently with guys walking into theaters and saying, I'm the Joker, and blowing innocent people away, and all of the different violent things that have happened, and then people invariably go back to the guy's Facebook page and go, "Oh my gosh, if somebody would have said something, we could have acted." That is what I think is going on here. The law enforcement has to, they're never right in the eyes of the people that are affected by them. If this guy had gone out and literally blown up, 6 buses full of people, and that's a hypothetical, how many of you would be asking yourself why the police didn't key in on all of his Facebook messages? So it's like a catch-20. They can't do anything right. And I'm not just blanketly defending the law, but in this case, use your imagination a little bit and think about where they're at. My belief is, and I'm based on my intuition, somebody probably forwarded this guy's messages to law enforcement. And they probably had a little meeting going, well, shit, what do we do about this? Well, and I think that's probably why the Secret Service was involved and the FBI. I think they brought everybody in so that they could, you know, dot their I's and cross their T's and make sure that they were doing the right thing, so that down the road, if this guy snaps, they can say, well, look, man, somebody reported it to us. We got to do something about it. I mean, before you get all bent out of shape and think I'm just defending the badge, think about that for a second. I'm sure this guy's a great guy. No doubt in my mind, he's probably a great guy. But I don't know, maybe he is nuts. I don't know the guy. Maybe he's got PTSD. Who knows? But the bottom line is if the police don't do something and this guy flips out, all the people that are freaking out about his detention and his psychiatric hold would be the same ones out there going, oh my God, he killed 56 innocent people, and I emailed the police and showed them this guy's messages, and they didn't do a goddamn thing about it. So nobody wants to have a psychiatric thing on their record, but sometimes it is better to be safe than sorry. I mean, we live in a dangerous world, man. I mean, we live in a world where there's a lot of pressure, and a lot of people are, a lot of previously normal people, man, have been brought to the edge of sanity and insanity because of the political situation, the job situation. There's a lot of pressure going on, man, and I haven't decided whether or not this guy should be where he's at in terms of being in a mental hospital, but it's not really my place to decide. If the police did something wrong, there's recourse that this guy can follow. There's civil action that are, you know, civil remedies that are available to people that are wronged by the authorities. But I guess my message is, take a broader look at the situation and don't be too quick to judge. Every time a cop car pulls up and puts somebody in the back seat doesn't mean they're the enemy. Sometimes they are. Sometimes they're fucked up. But for the most part, they're not. I hope it turns out that this guy's not mentally screwed up. But if he is, I hope he gets the help that he needs. I hope he's okay. So that's pretty much that's pretty much the video. And you know, leave your comments. Let me know what you think. You know, if you're just a total law enforcement hater and you're like, hey, fuck pigs. You know, I get that stuff a lot. You know, I love it when cops die and all fucking pigs must die. You know, I'm just gonna delete your message. I'll probably call you an asshole. Or a fucking something else pretty derogatory, and then I'll block you, because that's not really what it's all about, man. I mean, you know, there's a certain amount of people that hate all cops, and, you know, rock on, that's great. There's a certain amount of cops that hate all people, so smoke that. But anyways, just try to be fair and impartial. Leave your comments, let me know what you think, and I hope you guys stay safe, and I hope this thing works out for the best for everybody.